Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of A Gardener's Journey Homestead. I am Barbara. I am in Tennessee in Zone 7B. So if you're in my zone, follow along. If you're not in my zone, you can still stick around. We all talking about the same thing, which is gardening, especially at this time of the year. But today is seed starting day. Now, we've been starting seeds. This is our 4th week starting seeds. So if you're brand new here, I have created a seed starting playlist, and it's designed to help you start seeds, especially if you have never done it before and this is your first time. So if you check out the seed starting playlist, you will see videos that I started way back in November with the planning process, the seeds I ordered, how to get organized, how to determine what seeds to plant and when. It is a wealth of information. So if you're intimidated about starting seeds, don't be intimidated. I have all the information to help you. Now, I don't have all the information. There's plenty of information out there, but I have tried to give you as much information as possible to increase your comfort level and to encourage you to start your own seeds, right? So also, if you are new, every week we are starting seeds from now until it's time to plant out seeds. So if you're in my zone 7A or 7B, you literally really can follow along with me if you don't know what to start when and all of that good stuff. I'll give you a pretty good guide. So we are, at the time of this video, we are 9 weeks away from the last frost date. So if you are a new gardener, let me explain what last frost date means and how you can get it. First, if you want to know your last estimated frost date, sometimes you'll see the initials for it. I can't think. Last frost, LFD, Lord have mercy. Estimated last frost date. But you can go one or two places. You can go to thefarmersalmanac.com, put in your zip code, or you can just say, hey, Google, when is my last frost date for zip code, da-da-da-da-da-da-da, right? Either way, it's fine. It's going to give you your estimated last frost date and your zone, right? So all the estimated last frost date is an estimate of when they expect the last frost in your area. And the reason why that is important is because you want to start your seeds relative to the estimated last frost date. But depending on what seed it is, some seeds you start 10 weeks before, some 2 weeks before, some 5 weeks before. So knowing that estimated last frost date is like the pillar. You got to know that and then work yourself backwards, okay? So the reason why different seeds have different dates that you're going to start them is because of the time it takes to germinate and the time it takes them to grow, right? So things that grow relatively quickly, that germinate quickly, large in part, you're going to start those closer to your estimated last frost date. Things that take a while to mature and you want to kind of get a head start, you're going to start those further away from your estimated last frost date, okay? So you can also go to the seed starting playlist and you can check out what we planted at 12 weeks, 11 weeks, and 10 weeks before the last frost date. This video is 9 weeks before your last frost date. Now, if you are in a different zone, the same principle still applies. You would plant these things 9 weeks before, or you're safe to plant these things 9 weeks before your last frost date, even though that day may not be today, right? So my estimated last frost date is April the 20th. Yours may be May 20th. Well, whenever you get to 9 weeks before May 20th, you can still plant these same things. You just would not plant them today. Hopefully that makes sense, okay? But let's get into it because I am excited. Why? Because it's gardening and I'm always excited. But seed starting day, seed starting day is a fun day. And today we're starting some of our peppers, so I'm extra excited because peppers, we're going to the next level. We're going to the next level. But one of the things that I always do on the weekly video of seed starting is that I show you the progress of the seeds that we've already started together, right? So I'm going to insert that footage right here and you can see how things are looking, what's germinated, what's not germinated, and the progress. So take a look right here. Okay, this is the tray that we both, all of us, started together just last week. So it's been exactly 7 days. You can see we have great germination on the deal. We'll just go from left and right. That is the yarrow that we did, and we have perfect germination on that. Next are the Badger Flame beets. We have 4 out of 6 on that, and actually it goes down to this row here, so we got more there. This is the eucalyptus. It has not germinated, but look at our oregano. All of it has germinated. Our Dusty Miller, looks like we have one coming up right there. Now for our echinacea, nothing as of yet. This is bouquet deal. It has come up. That's more beets right there. This is eucalyptus, silver dollar eucalyptus. I don't see any germination there as of yet. And then this is the Delfino cilantro. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. There's 5 out of 6 in there. That's that. And the very last one is another echinacea. None of that has come up yet. So overall, this tray has done pretty good. The things that have not germinated are the echinacea, which takes a while, and the eucalyptus. Everything else, we have decent germination. Okay, so this is what we sowed together 2 weeks ago. So we're at 14 days in. As of last week, remember, we didn't have any thyme, but look, our thyme has started to pop up. We have it all down both trays. Our bok choy is looking great. Our cabbage looking great. And then remember last week we didn't have any Adriana. This is the pelleted lettuce. We have 1 out of 6. So that's the pelleted lettuce. So we're going to be doing more lettuce for sure. This is our cilantro that is coming up. And then these last 2 rows are chives and buncheon onions. They are slowly but surely starting to come up. So we're seeing some progress there. Okay, so I think overall things are looking good over the past 3 weeks of seeding. Again, everything usually does not all germinate, but I think for the most part I got some decent germination. The things that just didn't germinate was the parsley, and I may try those again. We'll see. But let's talk about what we're going to start today. So I've already done watered my soil, and then I've also made my label. So I'm going to show you what I'm going to plant today. But also the other thing that we're trying today, if you saw my last video, I made my own potting soil mix. So we're going to trial that today. So what I've done is this. So I have 2 trays. This whole tray right here is going to be peppers, and this is using all of the new mix. I'm being adventurous. But then this right here is the trial. And I had to do it a little bit differently than what I originally anticipated, and I'll tell you why. But basically, this tray here only has 4 of the 6 cubes. The black is the new soil. The rust colored is the traditional potting soil that I always use, which is Bacto. Okay? And so what I've done is I have, for these first 4, I have the exact same crop on the top that I do on the bottom. So we'll be able to see specifically for the same identical crop which one does better, does the same, doesn't do anything, if there's any difference at all. So this is the new, this is the old, and then these are just new, old, but it's 4 different kinds of varieties of seeds. And then this whole tray is peppers. So first, let's talk about peppers. So peppers, you typically start 8 weeks before your last frost date, right? And so on my plan that I had my peppers starting next week, but I had a thought that I wanted to start early, and I wanted to do 3 weeks of seed starting peppers. So I'm going to do some at 9 weeks, 8 weeks, and 7 weeks. So what I did was I looked at the peppers that were going to go in my tunnel, because my last frost date is April the 20th. It's very unlikely that I'm going to plant in the outside garden then, because there's usually always another little spell of cold weather and all that. And then just, again, it's hard to do it on the day. But I may be able to plant in my tunnel, because again, this is protected, and it gets much warmer in here. So as I looked to see which peppers I was going to start early, I identified the ones that I know for a fact will be in my tunnel based on my crop plan. If you don't know what a crop plan is, that's also in the seed starting playlist, where I'll walk you through how to determine where your stuff is going to go in your garden, right? We don't want to be just haphazard, because when you do that, you lose efficiency and you lose maximum production. If you plan it, you have a way better chance of having more productivity. But I won't talk a lot about that. So when it comes to peppers are started 8 to 10 weeks before. So somewhere in there, most people do 8 weeks before, because it takes them a while to germinate, number one. So peppers can take anywhere from 12 to 14 days to germinate, right? So it's not usually one of the ones that pop up, 3 or 4 days and surprise, surprise. Now, I had really good germination rate on most of my peppers last year, and I was seeing germination as early as like 6 or 7 days. Again, that doesn't always happen. So I'm going to tell you, give it 2 weeks. If you don't see your peppers germinating, give it 14 days before you count it a loss, okay? The other thing about peppers is that they love heat. So we have not talked about this in starting seeds up until this point, because the things that we've started have been herbs, flowers, and other things that don't require heat. Now, the pepper seeds do not require heat to germinate, but they're going to germinate a lot faster if they have heat. So when I put these peppers in the house, excuse me, I'm going to put them on a heating mat. That's another reason why I have this whole tray full of peppers. So again, be intentional when you come to your plan about what you're starting and what you're starting it in and where you're starting it. Meaning, it would not make sense for me to have peppers on this tray and lettuce, right? Because lettuce does not want to be on a heat mat. But because I know I'm going to put him on a heat mat, I made this whole tray pepper, so they're all the same, because you can't turn the heat mat on one side and off on the other side, okay? So peppers love heat. They will germinate faster if they're on a heating mat. If they're not on a heating mat, they can still germinate. It's just going to take longer. The other thing I'm going to do for my peppers is I'm going to put a humidity dome on them until I see the first sign of germination. So that's going to lock in the moisture content, and that's going to keep the temperature. So the peppers are going to go on a heat mat with a humidity dome. As soon as I see the first sign of germination, even if it's just in 2 and not the whole 35 or whatever, I'm going to take the humidity dome off and put it under lights. It can still be on the heat mat, but usually once they've germinated, I take it off the heat mat. Okay? So that's just a thing about peppers. Let me show you the peppers that I'm starting today. Okay, so I'm starting greenhouse peppers. And when I say greenhouse peppers, these are peppers from Johnny Seeds. They are specifically designed for a high tunnel, for high heat and high humidity, which is in a high tunnel. I tried these last year for the first time, and I love them. So I'm doing them again. They did extremely well. They were big. There were no disease, like not the first sign of disease, no cracks. They were huge, right? I wouldn't say that I got as much as I would have gotten or on some other ones, but the fact that they were big and no disease, no cracks, they were like absolutely market sellable, worthy, beautiful. Even though it wasn't in terms of the amount that I got from out here, it was still well worth it. Now keep in mind, I got a lot. It just, on average, they produce bigger, less fruit versus smaller, an abundance of fruit, if that makes sense. Okay. So I'm doing the Melena, which is an orange bell pepper of that variety. Bracanto, which is the yellow version. And then Sprinter, which is red. So a orange, a red, and a yellow bell pepper, all greenhouse varieties. Then I'm doing a new pepper that I've never done before. This is a jalapeno hybrid. And it's supposed to be a big jalapeno. I'm assuming it's similar to the Craig's Grande from Baker's Creek. It's called Pantera. I'm doing that one. Then I'm doing a new pepper I've never done before called the pimento pepper, which is from M.I. Gardner. I'm excited to try that because I want to dice my own pimento peppers and can and preserve them in those little 4-ounce jars that you get like at the grocery store. I'm going to be my own grocery store and do it myself. So I'm doing that. Then this is a new one from Row 7. the new company I've been talking about called Patchwork Pepper. I'm going to do that. And it says the germination on this is 78%, right? So that's another thing. If your seed companies that you're using has the germination rate on there, that's going to give you a clue as to how many seeds to do. So because it's 78%, I'm probably going to do 2 seeds per sale, right? Because the germination rate on this is low, I guess, when they trialed it. And then the last pepper is Sweet Bonnet from Baker's Creek. I did this one last year and it did okay, so I'm going to try it one more time. I liked the flavor of it somewhat. It was small, it was not as big, but I had a friend who did it and hers was much bigger. So I'm going to try it again. And then also, it's supposed to be sweet, not spicy. Mine had a little bit of spice to it because I think I had it by spicy peppers. So this year in my crop plan, I have my spicy and my sweet peppers separated. So I'm going to try this one again and see if I like it. If not, then we won't do it next year. Okay. So those are the peppers we're doing. So if you again are in my zone and you want to start peppers 9 weeks ahead of time, you certainly can. Okay. Now here's what else we're starting 9 weeks before the last frost date. We are starting sage. Okay. Sage can be a little finicky. I have grown it successfully, but it can be a little finicky. So we're starting that now. And you can see, I got my little note, 2/18. Today is the 19th, but we're right on track. So if you don't know what this little post-it note means, that's why you need to go watch the playlist, because I tell you how to organize. Literally, y'all, I just picked up this packet. I had all of my seeds rubber banded that I knew I was going to start today on 2/18 because I had already pre-planned. I pick up my packet, I come to the tunnel, start seeds, and talk to y'all. Okay, we're going to do calendula. Calendula is an herb that can also be medicinal. It's a flower, but it also can be used medicinally. Not an herb, it's a flower that can be used medicinally. I have 3 kinds of calendula we're going to try because I want to make like some calendula oil and a salve. I tried calendula 2 years ago. It was okay, so I'm gonna try it again. Then we're trying a new lettuce salad bowl mix from M.I. Gardner. And then we're trying this herb. I've never done lemon balm from seed, so I'm gonna try it. I love lemon balm. I love the smell of lemon balm, but I thought it would be good to have it, and you can harvest it for tea and stuff. So I'm gonna do some of that. And then the very last thing I'm gonna do is, oh yeah, I am going to do this one. It's straw flower, which is another flower that I've tried before that didn't do anything. I'm going to try it again. Okay, so that's what we're doing. I'm excited. So I'm going to time-lapse this, get the seeds in there, and we'll be good to go. And we'll come back and talk about what we did and wrap it up. Okay guys, everything is seeded. I'm going to mist, give it a water. I had already put the vermiculite on this one. Probably should have waited. Okay. And we'll top this with vermiculite as well. So 9 weeks before last frost date, done. If you're wondering why I'm putting vermiculite, it just helps with moisture retention as well as fungus gnats. I do have a couple of gnats on some of my trays in my house. That may just be me watering too much, but it does help with that, as well as it helps to retain moisture. You can get it at Amazon if you want some. And I think I have a link down in my bio. So all good. So I'm feeling accomplished. One more week down in the books. Again, to me, this is how you do it, week by week by week, having a plan. And before you know it, your house is going to be overloaded with seed starts. The temperature has dropped. It's about to get dark, and I'm about to go in the house. So I'm going to put my peppers on a heat mat with a humidity dome, and then these will just go under lights as regular. But thank you guys so much for joining me as we did another week of seed starting 9 weeks before the last frost date. We are counting it down. It is coming fast. So I hope that your plans are going well. I hope that your gardens are doing well. Remember, gardening is a journey. Let's grow together. I'll see you next time, friend.